Welcome to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to dive into the first episode of the brand new Fox reality TV show, Extracted. The show debuted on tonight on Fox. The show is going to air weeklies on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I can tell you what, guys, I love a good survival reality TV show, and this one really raised the bar. What is Extracted about, you might ask? One of a kind survivalist competition series, Extracted, features 12 untrained competitors attempting to survive extremely grueling conditions, terrain, and the threat of fearsome predators in the unforgiving Canadian wilderness. Meanwhile, some miles away, their family members are locked down in a secluded headquarters, watching them navigate their dangerous surroundings alone on a 24/7 live feed. The fate of each untrained contestant in the wilderness lies in the hands of their family members back at headquarters. Each amateur survivalist family have the power to decide whether or not their loved one has what it takes to brave the elements and fight to be the last one standing, or whether the family will push the ominous extracted button and remove their loved one and their whole family from the competition. Extracted begs the question, how far will a loved one let them go for a chance for the family to win $250,000? This is one of the interesting things. Obviously, before we meet and talk about the contestants, one of the things that you have to ask is, how much money does the person that survived gets versus how much the two people held back get? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I survive all of that, I got to get like 50% of the cut and everybody else gets like 25% or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe there's got to be a high dollar amount for the people that are actually surviving the wilderness. But all right, let's talk about some of these cast members that we meet early on. We got 18-year-old Anthony, who's with his parents. He basically wanted his parents to sign a contract that they wouldn't pull him out at any given time, which is funny because we'll break down what that happens with that a little bit later. Jake's 35-year-old, brought two of his brothers with him. Rosie is a rugby player and brought her aunt and cousin. Megan brought her dad and her best friend. 50-year-old Woody is a retired law enforcement officer who's brought his son and nephew. We get a look at the headquarters. Headquarters is kind of cool where the families will get to live and watch their family on of the who the contestant that they have on there. They have like these small rooms that they're living in during this time frame. Um, yeah, it was funny. Davina is a clown and a hairstylist. Watched the shows like this with her dad. Rest in peace. Brought her sister and stepdaughter. She's apparently here to prove them wrong and that she isn't a princess. So we get an incoming message to welcome everybody to headquarters. They will monitor their loved ones and they are without resources. They can compete for resources during the competition and get supply drops where they will be able to compete with one another, the families, to help them win things. The first supply drop will be tomorrow. Obviously, the first goal for the contestants is to find a campsite, right? Let's get grounded. We got to start some fire. We got to get some shelter. Ryan is there with his wife and his brother, and he sets up camp and is beginning to make shelter. We're starting to see everybody kind of making groundwork on a campsite, except for Davina. She was hoping that this would be something that she would have fellow teammates with, but she is struggle bussing. She was just not vibing. Woody is just kind of wandering around, wasting all of his energy instead of trying to be focused on finding a campsite. Again, you want to get in here, you want to find yourself a campsite. You want to get in, find a lay of the land, somewhere you can build something, start the idea of where I might be able to build a fire, where I'm going to have a roof over my head at night, protection maybe, and trying to figure out what of these animals are going to be out there. Ryan W. got himself a full-ass fort, water, locked and loaded. He's good to go. The sun will set in less than an hour, and it is nighttime, and Davina is still freaking out. Once the families are... So there's an area where there's private headquarters, and then there's the main headquarters. But once they're in the private living quarters, they're no longer able to watch their family anymore. So we see Anthony's mom struggling. She isn't getting any sleep, so she lays down inside the headquarters to watch and try to get some rest, while he is like out there crying for food. Please don't pull me. Please don't pull me. Don't you? I'm going to make you sign a contract that you can't pull me out of this competition, and struggling. All right. Supply drop incoming. Each family will receive an empty crate. An empty supply crate. Available supplies are like water, food, and warmth tools. The order they enter the room is selected at random. Supplies are limited. Anything they do or do not take will affect their team after you. They will have 1 minute to fill it up, lock the crate. If they don't, then they don't get a supply crate. So this is the thing. So they have limited supplies in this room. The family has to go in. They have a crate that has to close and has to lock. But the first group that gets to go has a pick of the litter, while the last group gets very little things. So it's like you can play an idea of a competition of battling between how much stuff am I going to bring, how much stuff am I going to take that the next people after me don't get. So by the time the last people grew, their selection is not going to be great. Ashley's family's first. They get tools, fire, food, locked it in. Davina's groups know she's in overhead, so they try to get stuff, but forget to get her food. Ryan's family is taking their good old sweet time. They're older. They got water and tools and almost didn't get them shit because they almost couldn't close it in time. They realize that they messed up. There's no more food or tools, so the supplies were limited, and the other groups got to go and didn't get as much as everybody else did. The survivalists know that a supply drop is coming. They make their way to the lake. Davina is going through a box and basically in tears. Like, this old lady is struggling. She said it's the hardest thing she's been through since her dad died. The survivors are starting to utilize the tools, and Anthony complaining that his family got what he got him. Anthony, this 18-year-old kid, just complains about everything. His mom is pissed and took off the headphones because she did not want to listen to his little ass complain about anything anymore. His line is small, and he kind of breaks some things. Anthony's ranting. Even his dad got pissed off and walked away. I can't imagine how hard it is to listen to that. His dad is frustrated in how he's acting. He said his son is saying he might tap out. I feel bad for his dad because he kind of breaks down about how he's acting. He's like, man, what did I do? What did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong in doing this? How did I go wrong? Like, am I a bad dad? And all these things kind of go through your head. And, is he a spoiled, rotten kid? And he might be, you know what I mean? Woody's starting to make a fire. His family is eating, his family is starting to get frustrated. After all the frustration, Anthony finally sets the fire first, followed by Ryan W. Austin said, I'm only getting married if Ashley gets the fire started, which was the biggest dick thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, when she watches this back, she's going to be pissed. Woody is continuing to struggle bus. He's giving up and started drinking the water from the lake. Colin and Blake are talking about Woody and his struggling, the idea of what he's going through. He said if he starts throwing up, they might pull him. Anthony said if the fire goes out, he's quitting. He's demanding after all that bullshit, he's demanding that his mom and dad hit the button. He said, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. And his mom said, nah, fam. She said, I'm fine with him self-imploding. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants them to press the button, but they refuse. Woody is now has now started barfing everywhere. Davina's freaking out. Anthony's hitting the camera, telling them to hit the button. His mom said, I stayed up all night and you have to, and you have all you need. I'm not pressing the button. Let him suffer. This was a baller first episode. This was fantastic. There was drama. There was survival aspect of it. It's just everything. The idea, the concept is everything that I love from a reality TV show. And this is one that you guys have to watch. It's fantastic. I loved everything about it. Make sure to tune in. Tune in to Extract It on Fox. It airs Mondays at 8 Eastern time. This is one of the ones that you're not going to want to miss. I really, really enjoyed it. If you want to check out my interview with head of Extraction, who was in charge, if somebody presses the button, she goes in with her group of team and pulls out the contestants. It's up right here on the YouTube channel. I'll probably post it below in the comments so that you can find it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out Extract It on Fox.